here to introduce a project called DeepBrain chain. And if you have been following the AI plus blockchain projects, you may have heard of our project already. We actually did the first AI plus blockchain project ICO last year. What we're trying to do is really create a decentralized AI cloud. I think the audience here must be familiar with this concept. Is we have the internet revolution in 2000 really released the productivity of the economy. Well, the blockchain economy we have since last year is really trying to create a value system for our contract, create a contract between different value creators and value consumers to really have a shared and decentralized system. Well, we believe also AI play a very big role into that because it serves as a brain as it gets more and more mature. So by combining internet and blockchain and AI, we believe DeepBrain chain is positioned in the golden cross of the two megatrends, right, AI and blockchain. And why we think this project is a real project and solving a real issue in a very big market. Because I think everybody have already seen AI is not only the future, it's already around us. There are many examples already, live examples around us, from Alexa to Siri to Tesla, auto-driving functionalities, and also big market. But also because so many companies, not only in the US, but also around the globe, are trying to create and attract AI talent into their company and build the infrastructure for the AI capabilities. But the typical AI development is like this. I've been working on the data science and AI space for the last 20 years, and my last job I was the global AI lead for my Group, one of the Fortune 500 companies. And we have done about more than 100 AI projects over the last 7 to 8 years for different Fortune companies. But if you look at what happened today, almost every single company doing AI project is following this cycle. Basically, number one, you have to buy expensive AI servers. You call them clusters and workstations. But these are typically, GPU, NVIDIA GPU clusters with like at least 4 or 8, maybe even going to 128 GPUs. And you can use this for deep learning, which is the foundational technology for AI breakthrough in this cycle. And once you have that, that's not the end of it. You have to build a team who knows how to handle the AI training software, for example, TensorFlow, Caffe, PyTorch. And those softwares, you have to configure the platform, you configure the environments, and you install those softwares. And unfortunately, those softwares are very new and maturing, so they're not really not that that's ready. So you have to fix the bugs, and you have to really optimize those platforms. And then only after that, you can begin the work of collecting data, cleansing data, labeling data, and then begin training, and then iterate the training. As you all know, some of the big data set and some of the larger, deeper data neural network models take about days or if not weeks to train. Even you have 8 GPU to like 32 GPU machines. I mean, autonomous driving and a lot of the voice AI technology, image processing, they actually take longer to train. But once you train one model, nobody trained the model the first time have the magic answer. You have to iterate it. So that's a very long cycle for you to invest capital on hardware and also to invest human resources. So I have an analogy of that is, imagine we are like in a world everybody driving horses to work, and suddenly there's an EV car available, right? So people try to drive the car to do shopping or to go to work or to do the applications, as sort of say. But almost every company is trying to do is go to buy components, so build a car, like hardware, just like in your AI workstation, your AI servers, and then they try to hire people to build the software for the car, like the voice AI control, like the autonomous driving, all those things. And then once you have those built, then you can begin to use the car for applications to do, shopping or go to work. So what we're trying to do is trying to say we don't have to have you to do all this hardware and software. We're using the blockchain technology to enable you to share the computing power and the other AI essential components like data and models using a blockchain in a decentralized environment. And then you can just have that car already built, both hardware and software, and magically show up in front of your door, and then you can just drive it to do applications. Because I believe most of that AI consumers, AI companies, they're trying to focus to solve business problems, creating business value, not really just interested in how TensorFlow works or how cafe spots have to be fixed. Right? So that's kind of the value proposition we are trying to do in the DeepBrain chain here. So I mentioned here there's 3 must-haves in the AI space: data, model, and computing power. So if you don't have data, you cannot train models. You don't have a good model, you cannot develop good results. But fundamentally, if you don't have good computing power, GPU-based computing power, if you buy them, you cannot train your models. And that's why a lot of the people cannot train and develop bigger models. And the cost is very high, and that's why we are saying with DeepBrain chain, we can try to connect those things using blockchain and try to lower the cost. And here's the magic sauce of the blockchain of the crypto token economy. If you go to AWS, or go to any cloud providers for GPU-based AI cloud today, you may think, oh, in the traditional cloud approach, I can rent the computing power, which will be cheaper and faster than building the server. I can tell you, at least based on the price today, time and time, we go to find out the renting price of GPU computing power is actually even more expensive than you buying it in the long run, if you calculate. Because the last cluster we built for a customer, 128 GPU clusters, the price we bought it is the same price if I rent it from known reputable GPU cloud providers for 1 year. So in 1 year, the rent will allow me to buy it. Of course, any other customers, if you buy, you still have a team to maintain and develop it. So it's very, very expensive. But with DeepBrain chain, since we have a token economy, we have a very unique way to allow our customers to pay only 30% of the cost of AI computing power, because the other 70% is compensated by mining. And so the AI computing power owners can earn tokens just like blockchain mining. They can earn the tokens to cover 70% of their cost. So the market of this AI cloud is a huge market. Today, we're in the traditional AI cloud market. There are a lot of companies who are successful there, AWS, Google Cloud, but we're very, very much moving towards the emerging AI cloud market. And there are 2 interesting data pieces here. One is from OpenAI. This was announced just last month. The AI cloud has basically doubled every 3.5 months and increased 300,000 times since year 2012. So it's a huge, huge growth in the last few years. The other one is from MIT Tech Review. The AI cloud market, the market potential is about double the traditional AI market. It's about $520 billion. So we are targeting to address that. However, we're addressing that in a different way using blockchain technology, because we're trying to connect different idle or available resources using the blockchain. And so we're really targeting this decentralized AI cloud market. Not a centralized cloud. Some companies own all the big servers and data center, but different machines, maybe different people in this room, you can own one of these machines either in your home or in your office or in one of the mining pools. You can offer that for other companies, AI companies, to use when they are available. Right? So we can really have that shared economy. So another kind of analogy we use is really we try to be the Uber of the AI space. So we try to really enable the sharing of resources, which will enable the best utilization of the resources. Of course, in the blockchain economy, Uber is not a very good example because that still have a centralized server solution, right? We're looking for a more decentralized. So going to the more details, like we said, we try to really enable the 3 components, data model and GPU computing power. And our mission is really try to become one of the largest distributed AI GPU computing resources by early next year. And this through 2 approaches. We're going in parallel. One is we are setting AI mining machines, which later we'll introduce briefly, based on fully functioned AI workstations. Typically, AI companies and universities are buying from Web2 companies and then do AI training. We actually have the same hardware, and we sell to our customers as AI mining machines, and we install the software on it to enable you to use that machine not only to do HTTP but also mining our tokens called DPC. It's already public traded, and so that makes 70% of the tokens, 70% of the cost is covered by the token mining, and 30% is covered from renting to other AI companies. The other approach is we are talking to a lot of the companies who already have a GPU power. For example, one of the Japanese companies we were talking is a gaming cloud company, and they have about 10,000 GPUs. And this interesting thing is most of the gamers play only during the evening, so during the day, the GPUs are pretty much idle. So they can use the GPUs to hook into our software and then begin to mine tokens and generate income and share those idle resources for other companies to use. Of course, all these GPUs, we have software to qualify if they are capable to do the deep learning. And the second one we are doing is we are also incubating applications, decentralized applications on our platform, because DeepBrain Chain is trying to be a decentralized AI cloud platform. On this one, we're really trying to enable any customer, for example, like a mom-and-pop shop around the corner, or any big companies, they can come over and say, I have a business problem. I want to use AI for it. For example, as simple as I want to do face recognition, voice recognition for my customers in my little store, but customized for my store only selling gift cards, for example, right? And customize that example. So then I can go to DeepBrain Chain to grab, for example, the data of gift cards, either voice or images. I can grab the models, which is available. This could be from other good companies like Cortex or Singularity. Good models that they can share, right? And then they can grabbing the computing power to train the model, even fine-tune the model based on my customized data, because every solution in AI we believe has a last mile, which is more difficult to fine-tune the solution. And then even there is a service provider on the DeepBrain Chain ecosystem. So we can group them together in a few days. I can develop a solution for my business use. So from that, we actually try to incubate 3 lines of business solutions, applications, try to really showcase the capabilities of the DeepBrain Chain ecosystem. And the 3 ones, the first one we are actually keeping a secret. We believe that's a huge market. We're going to announce later this year, but we're working full speed on it. The second one, we are working very closely with advanced data analytics. Just like in the earlier session, we talked about a lot of trading data analysis. So there are really big useful machine learning and deep learning in the data analytical space. So we actually are bringing some of the best data analytical capabilities onto DeepBrain Chain, so people can just come to DeepBrain Chain and use it to produce. So they can pay per use the best models and algorithms and the tools in the world. The last one is NLP, natural language processing. This could be applying to both voice AI and also text mining, for example, for chatbot, for e-commerce agents and those kind of things. So from a blockchain perspective, there are quite a few innovations we're doing trying to enable the DPC ecosystem. We are a public chain and we are AI foundation chain. So we're trying to enable other AI companies to utilize this blockchain technology. So scalability and security, flexibility, those are big considerations. So our target is 1 million TPS and 1 million network of nodes. If you're in the blockchain space, you know those are pretty big goals, and we are making good progress towards that target. Another one we're trying to really do is for security. We have passive and active security analytics on our DeepBrain Chain. So recently there are a lot of security concerns and incidents. Since we are an AI company, we have done a lot of AI and security, so we actually try to use that data analytics tool on DBC, on the DeepBrain Chain, to really look at the data and the network and user behavior anomalies, and then try to really avoid attacks and things like those. And the last one that's actually interesting is our consensus approach. We have a very innovative consensus approach called the AI POC, Proof of Contribution. So this is actually a combination of 3 components. One is similar to US DPOS+. So basically you have a big stake and we have representatives to vote for you. So we call it, if you have money and you have some, like congressmen to vote for you, right? That's one aspect of it. The second aspect is really if you have resources, they can contribute. We call it proof of resources. So if you contribute, for example, mining machines or AI computing power or data sources, then you can have a certain voting power there as well. And the last one is people who may not have money, may not have resources, but they actually contribute a lot of labor to the DPC ecosystem. So this is called active contribution by participation. So we combine those three things together as the consensus approach and randomly select a part of our consensus nodes to make consensus to avoid security. So we believe that's the best balance, like our society, right? The people who have money can contribute, people who have resources can contribute, and the people who want to contribute labor, they can contribute as well. So our focus right now is we are in the middle of the pre-sale of our AI mining machine. If you go to our website, DeepBrain.org, we actually already pre-sold almost $100 million worth of AI mining machines. Of course, right now we are doing the ranking, and only certain people ranking at the top will have the rights to buy our mining machines because our mining machines, based on the returning cycle, is actually more than good return. By the end of June, we are going to release our testnet. This testnet will have our first version of the blockchain, and also TensorFlow and Cafe software, and also some of the leading machine learning capabilities. So we'll welcome if there are people are interested in joining our testnet to be our test nodes. We're definitely happy to engage you from late June, early July timeframe. Our mining machines will be shipped along with the mainnet going live by the end of October, actually on the Holy Wednesday. And after that, we'll keep iterating and evolving our AI software and environment. So this is a sneak view of the AI mining machine. So we have 4 models. First one is the storage model to offer the storage in the distributed environment. Second one is a 2 GPU, we call it AI mining AIM workstations. And the third one is a 4 GPU, 8 GPU AI cloud machines. And last one is a 128 GPU cluster. Believe it or not, actually, we have a lot of customers pre-order is on the last one. So we actually got more than 100 orders of the last machine, which is a big task for us to really see how many we can sell them and how many we can host them. But as you can see here, if we have that much of computing power, we will quickly become one of the largest GPU computing power for AI in the world, and all this is connected together. And for the mining token economy, if you go to look at our website and white paper, you will see we reserve half of our token as a mining reward. So that's about 5 billion DBCs. Again, DBC is publicly traded by circulating market cap today. We are ranking about 100 to 110th largest crypto company. But since we only have 15% in circulation, if you calculate our total market cap, we're actually much higher. So for the first 5 years, 500 million will be awarded for token for mining, and out of that, 350 million will be awarded for GPU computing power, 100 million will be awarded for storage, and 50 million will be awarded for consensus. And based on that, this is an example of an 8 GPU machine. I'm not going to go through the details, but basically, if you look at the hardware cost is $31,000 around that, with all hosting, the total fixed cost about $33,500, and it's 72 kilowatts. So if you calculate electricity, it's about $8, almost $9 per day, right, for electric bill. And then if you look at our DBC price, if we use the base of 10 cents per DBC, and you calculate the total GPU, we have 2,500 GPUs in the first round. And then we have total storage capacity about 60 terabytes. So based on that assumption, we calculate out you can mine about 3,200-ish DBCs per 8 GPU machine, and that's translated to $300-ish. So with that calculation, you take out the cost. In 126 days, you get your money back to the mining. Right? Again, we are not trying to use this mining for kind of wasteful, not useless kind of mathematical calculation, where we use that for AI calculation. So as soon as the AI company is coming in to rent our computing power, and you can use this for, can use the machine for renting out for AI renting income as well. So that's additional income. Of course, if we sell less GPUs, I want to make this point. If we sell 1/4 of the GPUs, as we indicate here, assumptions 2,500, the return will be shortened to only 1/4 of this, which is about 30 to 40 days. So that's the total mining token size is fixed, but the total number of GPUs on network is the big assumption here for how many tokens you can run. From a software perspective, we are releasing the first version of AI software by the end of the year, right after the mainnet going live. So this is really the first version. We're going to support the popular AI training software. This is the TensorFlow V2 and the PyTorch. And we're going to offer this as a package solution, like I said in the example earlier. We're going to have the hardware as the AI mining machine software available on the decentralized AI cloud, and the software we're going to build. And then once the customer needs it, that car is going to magically show up to you, right? So you can just use it as a turnkey software on the remote computing power machine in a secure way. So you can use that to develop your AI applications. And that will come as the graphical interface, for example, to help you to train the models, to help you know if the model is converging to the right direction, and even graphically design the models. We also will releasing the model market and the data marketplace by the end of the year as well, so people can trade their data and models. I think some of you may have already seen this. Yesterday, we announced a partnership with Singularity. The creator of the partner with Hansen Robotics, and they created the Sophia robot, the first AI citizen of Saudi Arabia. So we actually created a partnership with them. So we're going to connect and push through the data and the model resources along the DBC, the DeepBrain chain ecosystem, and then also the Singularity Net ecosystem. And this Singularity Net resources and their customers can utilize the computing power on the DeepBrain chain as well. We expect we'll have more partnership coming because we offer a very unique value proposition, and we don't view our data and model providers as competitors. We view them as partners because everybody can utilize more data and more useful models in the AI space. So let's do it early stage, as the previous presenter talked about. And meanwhile, since we have so many distributed AI machines on the blockchain, we actually are researching and working a lot on the distributed AI approaches. So this is really training the AI models not only on one machine, one AI cluster, but also multiple AI clusters distributed out. So there are some good research results we're already working on, and we hope that next year we can bring some breakthrough so we can really truly utilize the decentralized and distributed approach. I think if you look at the history, right, from mainframe to PC, from Superdome to Hadoop clusters, Linux clusters, I think there's no doubt the eventual AI cloud is going to be decentralized way. It's going to be distributed, right? Otherwise, only big companies like Google with big TCU clusters, tons of money, can't afford to do AI. We don't believe that will be the future. We believe the algorithms and also blockchain will become two fundamental enablers for AI to become decentralized and then become a much lower price for everyday company to use. So the apps, I'm going to forget the time, I'm not going to talk more about that. So as a quick summary, DeepBrain chain is trying to create an innovative public blockchain, AI foundation chain. We are trying to enable the AI companies and the AI partners to share resources to lower price of the computing power, data cost, and also model cost, and meanwhile developing much faster time to market. Our customers are not only AI companies, but also any customer eventually will have AI needs. Our mainnet will be live in Q4 on the Hollywood Day. And also the last one I'm very excited to announce actually, we already have a few companies lining up to get on the DeepBrain chain and also issue their tokens using the DeepBrain chain ecosystem. So in other words, they actually will utilize the DeepBrain chain's AI ecosystem to develop their AI product, and also they will become our partners when they actually fundraising, they're going to raise half of the Ethereum and half as DBC as a partnership. And we actually, as an investor, DeepBrain Chain is also going to be investing in top quality AI plus blockchain companies. So we have 3 companies already lining up. They are in different verticals, and we are open to discuss with other high quality AI plus blockchain companies going forward. Thank you.